Rolling.
It's not moving. So now that you know the basic ways to use the Maha Mantra through japa and kirtan, we're going to talk about creating your daily chanting practice and give you some tips for getting started chanting in the chanting life, you could say. So we call this practice sadhana. Sadhana is the term used in the yoga text, and it literally means that it's a means of accomplishing something. It's just like practicing anything you want to learn. Chanting japa is one of the most powerful and easy practices to include in your own sadhana. By daily practice of chanting, you'll prepare yourself with the consciousness that you need to live your day and your life in a spiritual way. It empowers you to align your daily actions and your thoughts with your spiritual nature. Japa is really the most effective when it's done in the early morning. Just after we've taken our baths, cleansed our bodies, we should take the time to cleanse and elevate our minds and hearts. At this time of the day, our minds are generally more peaceful, and thus this is really the best time for meditation. Also, whatever you do during this time, it influences how you feel, your consciousness throughout the whole day. So in japa, in this sadhana, we put our external world on hold and we make a spiritual connection. It's the time we make that connection that transcends the rest of our day. In the system of bhakti yoga, which we talked about earlier, there are a lot of practices that can be added to this japa, but japa is always the core ingredient. It's the main element in your sadhana. Now, when you do japa, and to create a sadhana, one of the most important things is to fix yourself a number of rounds of chanting. We talked about rounds in the last lesson. Really serious students, they chant 16 rounds, which takes almost an hour and a half. But you might want to get started with something that is smaller. Or just sit down. Put a timer so that you don't have to look on 10 minutes or so. And just chant, focusing on the mantra. When you're comfortable with this, you could fix yourself on, say, 1 or 2 rounds on your mala, and then work up from there. But whatever number you fix, try to maintain it, and even make up for it if you miss a day. So along with your daily japa, that's the core of your sadhana, try to bring kirtan into your regular practice. That will help you get the full effects of this chanting of the Maha Mantra. We hope there'll be some kirtans nearby which you can attend, but if you don't, then have a kirtan at your home. It's an extraordinary way to both enjoy the benefits of kirtan and serving others. There's another major element in bhakti yoga, and that is to serve other people. To hold a kirtan, all you need is a comfortable place for everyone to sit, preferably with some cushions on the floor, some simple instruments like a tambourine or bongos, guitars, whatever you have. Keyboards perhaps, whatever you like to add to the musical experience. There's also traditional kirtan instruments, especially the two-headed drum, which we call the mridanga, and the hand cymbals called kartals. There's a reed organ called the harmonium, and if you look around the kirtan scene, you'll see all of these kind of instruments being used. And if you want to, you could purchase them from our associated stores. So, get into the mood, try out the kirtan around you, wherever you can. Do it at home. When you do it at home, follow the tradition, the call and response. One of you can lead, everyone else is responding. Use simple tunes so that no one has a problem. We have those tunes you can download. and follow. And they're very easy. And try to get others in your group to take turns leading the chanting so that everyone gets into the spirit of the kirtan, and let it go for maybe 15 or 20 minutes. And then top it off with some vegetarian snacks, and then make the whole event a spiritual party as well. So, here's a few chanting tips. Whether you're doing it in japa or you're doing it in kirtan, the essence of chanting is to get yourself absorbed in hearing the mantra. That's it. So, how do you do that? Well, first of all, when you sit down, just get right into it. Make a commitment to work at it. Make sure you're pronouncing the words of the mantra very carefully. Pronunciation really helps. Sit upright, that's back straight, that does help a lot. And of course, just try to hear each word at a time. Your mind is going to wander. That happens to everyone. It's automatic. But just pull it back. Keep practicing. As you do it, it'll get better. It will get better every day. When people begin with the mantra, you may experience that your thoughts are even more wild than you have experienced before. But actually that's a good sign, because it doesn't really mean that your thoughts have become wilder. It actually means that you have become quieter, and you are becoming aware of the difference between you and your mind. Gradually, as your consciousness becomes more and more absorbed in the sound presence of the divine in the mantra, your material thoughts will slow down and eventually transform themselves into spiritual thought, the divine manifesting in your spiritualized mind. Now, this meditation is a gradual process, and we're going to give you one more lesson to talk about further steps that you might take to get the full benefit and promise of the spiritual life that goes around chanting.